As you've seen already from previous presentations, Maltese is one of the languages that's lagging behind with respect to the development of language technology. However, it is not all negative and not all bad, in the sense that we are slowly getting things done, and especially thanks to a few very keen individuals who are trying very hard to push things as much as possible. Some of the problems, just in a few words to give people a general idea, some of the problems we face are, first of all, our size. The fact that we're, of course, have a small language, about, let's say, 500,000 speakers in all. Small also in terms of physical size, and also in terms of resources, especially financial resources. Another problem is something that actually should be very positive, which is our bilingual situation, English and Maltese. We are all happy to be able to use both languages. However, unfortunately, what happens is that there's a tendency for English to dominate in certain areas. And since a lot of people say, well, okay, I can use English, so I don't really need to use Maltese, you get the problem, the disadvantage of people not making a huge effort to use Maltese enough. You have to push them and to encourage them to do that. And generally speaking, there is also a bit of an attitude here, which is, of course, related to this because of the for historical reasons, social reasons, the way that very often Maltese is still associated with has rather negative connotations for certain people, the use of the Maltese language. Having said that, though, it's important to say, I think, also that in the most recent survey we've had, when answering the question, what language do you speak at home, about 90% of the people said they speak Maltese at home regularly, and about 6% say they speak English regularly at home. The actual situation is that there's a lot of mixing and code switching going on, especially in the spoken language. But just interestingly, I think one sees a tendency generally for English to be the written language and for Maltese to be the spoken language. So again here, there's an effect. So if you're writing emails, if you're writing or using the internet generally, again, there's a tendency for people to use English, not exclusively, because there is a lively community also of, especially young people also, who use Maltese nowadays. I want just to mention a few examples perhaps of positive things going on, related also to perhaps the three main parties who actually are working within this area. So one of them is the political, so that's the National Council for the Maltese Language, of which I am a member myself. And to take one specific example, the National Council for the Maltese Language has been very important in encouraging the digitization of the Maltese English Dictionary, an authoritative Maltese English Dictionary, Aquilina's dictionary. And the Council brought together actually the university, the Ministry of Education, and also the publishers of the book, Mitzi Publisher. So here we see a nice combination of academics, of politics, and also of industry. And the project has actually started. They're updating the dictionary and also digitizing it and making it accessible on the internet. There is a small team of 4 people working on it. It's a rather small team. There's a lot of work to do, but at least it's a beginning and things are moving forward. Another thing I'd like to mention, 3 things together, is, and this involves mainly a local company, as well as the government in a way, and university again. There is a project which is actually almost finished now, to develop a speech engine, basically text-to-speech project. Actually also one of my colleagues is here, who is also involved in this project. And this is mainly this was given after a call for tenders to a local company, who actually helped to develop the text and have now come up, I think, with quite a good piece of machinery. Again, the university was involved in this through expertise. There was this company and the government. Basically, the bid came from a government agency, okay, an agency for the disabled, basically. And finally, as a last example, the university itself. The university has a number of projects running, involving different departments, being the Institute of Linguistics, the Department of Maltese, the Department of Intelligent Computer Systems, and so on. We have projects developing corpora. So, for example, now we have a corpus, and the next version of that corpus should have something like 100 million words in it, in Maltese, of course, written corpus. And there are also smaller projects working on spoken corpora as well. So again, things are moving. There are a few people working on these things, but so it's taking a long time to do them, and not very much money available. But at least, let's put it this way, there is, I think, a motivation to actually get things going. To finish off, okay, basically I think the main problem is very often that, especially from the political side, you get a lot of lip service, you know, lots of people, ministers saying, yes, our language is very important for our identity, but then when you ask them for some money, they're not all that prepared to invest in actually developing the language. There is, I think, also a lack of interest from local industry. Usually we have very small companies, and they have their own very big problems at the moment, okay? And you do not really get any initiatives coming from their side to try and develop these areas. And finally, as I said before, I think that the whole linguistic situation is relatively complex in Malta, and there is still a lot to be done on the language itself by the National Council, for example. A lot is being done. Things like standardization, for example, of orthography, which is also very important for spell checking. We don't have a spell checker yet, a proper one, although there have been attempts at spell checking, and there are projects working on spell checkers. And if people are interested, I can give them details of what's going on. Actually, also Microsoft was involved in one of these, but nothing came out of that eventually, for many reasons. Good, I think I'll stop there. As I said, so things are not so bad. We are still lagging behind, but I think that with a bit more help and support, we should be able to place, at least to move one step further from weak or non-existent to the next phase. I don't remember what that was in the list we were presented with, hopefully in a few years' time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.